Hello guys and gals, thank you so much for clicking on this video, and without further ado, let's dive into M. Night Shyamalan's newest movie, Trap. So Trap is the latest M. Night Shyamalan thriller, with the movie's premise being set around a father played by Josh Hartnett taking his daughter to a highly anticipated concert in the city. But when he starts wandering around the place and noticing an unusual amount of police activity, he starts questioning employees at the venue and eventually figuring out that the whole concert in and of itself is a trap to catch an infamous serial killer known as the Butcher. With the twist being that he is the killer, Josh Hartnett's character Cooper, and that the story mostly follows and revolves around him trying to gather valuable intel around the venue and him escaping the lockdown area scot-free. But that's as much as I'm going to say about the movie's plot without going into spoilers, because this is a spoiler-free review, and at the end of the day, what I thought on the movie and what I liked the most and disliked about it. But with that little intro out of the way, oh boy. M. Night Shyamalan has had a bunch of ups and a bunch of downs with his recent movies, with me not really liking much of what he has contributed, mostly to the movie horror space, and especially with what he did with the movie Old, and the premise of it being that the longer you stay at this mysterious beach, the faster you age, and it not really piquing my interest. Even though with the movie's premise sounding really intriguing and promising, but still failed to execute with what I would have wanted out of a movie like Ulta's premise, and me at the end of the day not really liking it. Getting back on topic, is M. Night Shyamalan's Trap any different? Well, yes and no. Let's start with some of the positives I really liked about the movie, with it bringing something new and refreshing to see in the thriller type of movie genre like Trap, and with it being that we're following the perspective of the killer, similar to that of this year's In a Violent Nature, which I kind of felt disappointed in, with it having a similar premise to Trap, but at the end of the day, delivering with its gruesome to watch kills and an overall joyful experience to watch in theaters. But with the big difference between the two films being that In a Violent Nature was rated R and Trap being rated PG-13, and with it being rated PG-13, it held the movie back from having some harsh moments to watch that at the end of the day, either way, would have really not affected the movie, because there's only like one or two instances where something goes off in the movie that really makes you say, "What the F?" silently. But besides that, Josh Hartnett's character is really the standout of the movie, with him delivering an outstanding performance of him trying to play both sides of a character, with all the rainbows and sunshine father figure he's trying to be to his daughter, while also having an interesting but dark and mysterious past behind all his actions and reasoning that the movie hints at a lot, but doesn't outright tells us about this infamous serial killer known as the Butcher, which really makes for quite an experience to see unfold throughout the story, and what's at stake in the movie, especially as it's wrapping up near the end, which kind of felt similar to that of Jason Voorhees and his mother's relationship with him in the Friday the 13th films, whereas Jason's mother's presence is used to defeat the big bad of the story. But now moving on to some of my negatives on the movie. I don't know if it's just a pet peeve of mine I had while watching this movie, or if you guys also picked up on this, but M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, Salika Shyamalan, who is in the movie and is playing the character of Lady Raven, the superstar singer that the concert and venue is centered mostly around the movie, and she eventually becomes a pivotal part of the movie, kinda has some awkward scenes, and especially dialogue scenes where she is interacting with the other characters of the movie. Her lines just come as very uncanny and sort of just take you out of the movie and the immersion. But besides that, she is a very talented singer and has an amazing voice. But with that in mind, you also have to take into consideration that M. Night Shyamalan's daughter is also trying to become a singer outside of the movie space, and it kind of seemed that this movie was made and written specifically to be centered around his daughter, so she can finally have her big break in the music space and make a name of herself. But hey, I can't really blame him, since with the power that M. Night Shyamalan has on his hands, who wouldn't try to attempt this to get that family back secured and future-proof? But other than that, as the story starts to unfold without getting into too many spoilers, it just doesn't make any sense at all. The more you try to comprehend and think about it, and especially with the movie already establishing early on in the story that Josh Hartnett is the serial killer they're looking for, and we're pretty much following him. And there's also some certain instances in the movie where you would have bet he would have gone caught, but no, the police patrol just a bat an eye like GTA officers and just let him go scot-free. And don't even get me started on the third act of the movie, which is just one of the dumbest ways to end the movie, with all the logic this film has supposedly thrown at you after establishing the police force as a strong presence throughout the movie, being willingly to do anything to take down the serial killer we were following throughout. But in conclusion, is M. Night Shyamalan's newest movie Trap worth a trip to theaters? Well, no, not really, and you're better off just waiting for it to go to streaming services. And if I were to give it a rating out of 10, I would give it a 7 out of 10, with it being an enjoyable movie at first in the beginning, but really ruining the movie early on with it revealing that the serial killer is Josh Hartnett's character, instead of us satisfyingly putting the pieces together and concluding that the killer is actually indeed Josh Hartnett's character Cooper, and it was actually him the police force was after, and really ruining the natural unveiling of an interesting premise they had going on at first, with what seemed like an afterthought at the end. But that's just my opinion on what I thought on the movie, and would love to hear your thoughts on the movie if you already watched it or are planning to watch it. But with that, thank you guys so much for checking out this video, and I would really appreciate it if you could please hit that like and subscribe button if you liked this video and would want to see more content like this from me. Anyways, with that, take care.